So before you guys say anything, yes, I have blue hands. I have purple hair, and every time that I color my hair, a little bit of staining happens, which is what happens when you have purple hair. So I do look kind of like I belong in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I already washed my face, and I prepped, primed, and we're going to the POW. Remember the 3 Ps? Prep, prime, pow, prep, prime, pow. I already prepped my skin. I use my Ulta Poreless Primer, and I'm going to go in with my Beauty Blender, and I put a little bit of Fix Plus on it. Get a little bit of foundation going. Today we're going to do a little bit more bold brow, because hence the palette. So warm up the product with my hands, put it on my face. Put a little bit more. Today's going to be a little bit more dramatic, so remember, don't forget the neck and the ears. And I hope that a lot of this does make sense and you guys enjoy it. So this is going to be a little bit more advanced video, hence why I have a lot of foundation on. So this foundation that I use, it's the Clinique Acne Solutions that I've talked about in other videos, and it is light to medium coverage. So the first layer is pretty much like a BB cream. It's very, very subtle, and I want to make it pretty dramatic today. We're going to use concealer now, and I'm not going to do a triangle, but I am going to put quite a bit. Now I'm going to do lines going angled. And blend that in. I do kick on foundation a lot right now, but it's still, not as really dramatic as like a lot of people. I do follow just the regular, the lines. I have lines right here I like to diminish a little bit, and I do 3. I like the number 3. Obviously, everything I do is in 3s. Have you guys noticed that? I just started noticing that when I started recording, and I was like, oh my goodness, everything is in 3. I'm going to take the foundation that I have on here, and I'm going to put it on my eyes, my eyelid, because that's going to be my base. I'm going to take a little bit more, and I am going to put these on the lids. After this, I'm going to do my brows. All right, guys, I am back. I have one brow on, so we are not here forever. And I'm going to show you how I do my more dramatic brows. I am going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in medium brown. And it's really good to go with almost the color of your roots, because that makes it look more natural. I will obviously link everything and show you pictures, as you already know. So I'm going to take my flat-ended brush. Remember the spoolie and the flat-ended brush. Take my pomade here. This is a lot darker than the pencil that we used. These are going to be like my Instagram brows, and the other ones we did were very, very natural. So I'm going to take the bottom and define the brow. And again, it's going to get messy before it gets perfect, so don't worry about that. Okay. Then I'm going to take the top here, and I'm going to find where my arch is, and I'm going to define it. It's a lot darker, and go in and color it using little strokes. Strokes up, just like we were doing with our pencil. Very lightly, because this is very pigmented, as you can tell. So don't press too hard. I'm going to bring it to the front, and again, it looks really dark, and we are going to blend it in a little bit. Then we're going to take our spoolie in and brush up and brush sideways, up and sideways, up and sideways, and we are going to fix and conceal it later. Then I'm going to go in with a different flat-ended brush, because that one has product on it. Going with my concealer, I'm using the Ulta Youthful Glow concealer, and go underneath here and define my arch. This is where you're going to get to choose how high you want the brow, how low, how curved. I like mine pretty dark and pretty dramatic, because when I wear a lot of makeup, I like dark brows. Go underneath. and conceal it. We're also going to sharpen this, make it sharp. There we go. And bring the concealer down, remember? Bring the concealer down. Because that's going to be our base for our shadow. Then I'm going to take a brush that has no product on it, and that's going to help me blend that concealer into the lid. Again, you can use eye primers, which I might use in a different video, but I'm using concealer. I think I like using concealer just because it's already there, so it just makes it quicker to get stuff done. And I'm going to use what I have on this brush, concealer, kind of go in the beginnings of these to give you that really pretty kind of ombre-ish look. Now, since I'm doing them a little bit more dramatic, I'm going to take my pencil, which is the Wet n Wild Khol, and I'm going to darken this tail because I like dark ends. Okay, so I'm going to take my Phoebe palette from Friends that I used, and this is from Makeup Revolution. It's the Friends collection. I'm going to use a transition color. Transition color is going to be maybe 1 or 2 shades darker than my brow, than my lid. So I'm going to go in with Buffet and use that all on my eye. That's going to kind of give me a base to work with. You can also set it with powder and go from there, but I like to set it with shadows. We're sweeping motions and then swirling all the way up. Okay, now it's the fun part, using these beautiful colors. I am going to go in with Parade, and I'm going to sweep that in this crease right here. Good. And place it in your crease. Very, very lightly. This is only the beginning, so this is only for... Then I'm going to take my fluffy brush, and I'm going to do little circles and bring it in. I'm going to work on blending this, wiper blade motions, and diffusing it. Take that same brush, pat a little bit more on, and I'm going to bring it towards the middle, a little bit less than the middle. And do the same thing, diffuse it. This is a process, so a lot of the times you have to be very patient with colors like this because they're very, very pigmented, and you want to take it easy and go a little slow. Especially if you do your foundation first. If you go too fast and dip in and then put it on your eye, you're going to get all this fallout, which if it happens, you know, you clean it up. Some people will use setting powder underneath it so they can just wipe it away. But I am not a big setting powder person, so just keep playing with it until you get the consistency that you want, and you got to make it look seamless. Once I get that to where I want, I'm going to add a little bit darker color. So I'm going to use this blue that's called Peace, and use that same green brush, and I'm going to add it to the lid. A little bit farther than the first one. Not much, just a little bit. And to the crease. And I'm going to bring it a little bit further in. So basically you take a color, you put it where you want it, and then you go in with a usually clean brush or the blush that you are using and swirl it around. We don't want to cover the entire lid because we're going to use a different color for the lid, so don't bring it all the way in. And work on blending that. To give it a little bit more depth, we are going to use one more color with a different brush, and I'm going to probably go in with just a little hint of black, which is NYC, and put it right in the edge right here. And again, I'm packing it. I'm not just putting it on. I'm packing it here because I'm going to blend it. And looking down, I'm going to bring it up a little bit to this corner here. Just a little bit. Black is very pigmented, so be careful with that. And blend. Blend it in and out. This is all a patience game. It does take patience to do this. I'm going to add a little bit more. Swirling it around, bringing some of it in like we did with the other one. For a color to really pop, once you have this down, you have to do a cut crease. You literally have to cut your crease with concealer. So I'm going to take my Ulta Beauty Youthful Glow Concealer and a more of like a brush that's flat like this. And you're going to take a little bit of that and you're going to go in and lightly go in and place it on your eyelid. And I'm going to do only halfway, so where we don't really have any color. Take a little bit more, and here is the trick to this cut crease. You're going to look up and down, and where you see that concealer went, that's where you're going to need to bring the product all the way up. And pat it. I'm going to take a little bit more and pat it on. And you're going to want to let this dry a little bit. Once you have finished with your cut crease and let it dry a little bit, another trick is to take a clean brush and pat it a little bit. If you have a lot of excess color, if you put too much concealer on there, that helps the drying because you're taking some off. So again, I'm going to go with my favorite tool, which is my little fingers, and I'm going to go in with Sunlight, which is a really bright yellow. And I'm going to pat it. I'm not going to smear it. I'm going to pat it. You got to make sure that you are very patient with the color so you don't get in the blue, or vice versa. When you do the blue, you don't get it in the yellow. And we're going to blend this blue inwards. Now I'm going to use Healing. That's a very pretty gold. I love gold. I love gold colors. They're like, this is like a foil. And I'm going to pat it in the middle. Take a little bit more gold and press it on. Sometimes it takes just a little bit of tries here. There is that. I am going to show you a game changer. Glitter shadows are awesome and amazing. Sometimes they're pigmented, sometimes they're not. But You have to have a good base for glitter to grab a hold of. So Stila creates liquid eyeshadows, which are amazing. Amazing. They are toppers, or they can be used on their own. And I'm going to take this one that is called Smoky Storm. Okay. Take it out. And I'm going to put it in the middle here. I'm just going to tap it. This is going to give you the extra pop that you need. My little beauty blender, and clean up that blue that we got going on here. Now I'm going to take the gold that we used from that palette, and I'm going to use it on the inner corner of my eyes, because you guys know I love a pop of gold or silver. I'm going to take a little bit of that gold and then a little bit of this Stonewall. And I'm going to put it in the inner corner of my eyes. Okay, now my favorite part that a lot of people dread, but I absolutely love it. Eyeliner. And I'm going to do a very dramatic wing to go along with our dramatic eyes. So I'm going to take my wing here. Get a little close to you guys here. And I'm going to start, when I'm doing dramatic wing, I do it this way. When I do a very basic wing, I start in the middle. So take it out here. Okay, once I have that, I'm going to go in and bring that tip in. Liquid eyeliner is very tricky, and it took me years to get it. Years. Once we have that, I'm going to start in the middle and work my way forward and backward, forward and backward. Getting as close as I can to my lid here, to my lash line. Here is a trick when you're going to put on false lashes, like I'm going to, make it a little bit thicker, because the band of the false lashes will cover up your liner. If you happen to mess up on this corner, concealer with a flat-ended brush will clean this right up. So now I'm going to use some mascara, which I'm going to use the It Cosmetics, the Superhero, and the Blowout one that I love so much. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to curl my lashes also. I'm going to wait for the liner to dry a little bit. And while I wait for that liner to dry, I'm going to use a clean brush, and I'm going to go underneath with a little bit of gold. A bit of that gold that we took. Underneath. Go in and curl these lashes. Lashes can be extremely tricky to put on, and I've seen a lot of people make this mistake. Take them out of the package and put them on. That is not what you're supposed to do. You need to put them on and measure how your eye is. Some of us have smaller eyes, some of us have more round eyes, almond eyes, and fit it too. So me, I always have to trim at least like 2 lines of the lash for it to fit correctly. So I've already measured it. And I'm using the Vegas Nay Eye Lure Glue, which is my favorite. That one or the Ardell. These lashes are Ardell Wispy lashes. One of the best. They're very natural looking, but at the same time, not. Because that would be sweet to have lashes like that. You need to let the lash glue get tacky. Don't go in right away and put it on, because it's going to mess up your makeup. Let it get tacky. Blow on it if you want to. And then, once it does get tacky, you are going to set it on. Starting with almost the end. Let it adhere. And then the inner corner. lashes make such a difference. Like I was saying, it's important to make that eyeliner thick, because if you had thin eyeliner, you'd be able to see the band, and that's not cute, honey. That's not cute. I'm going to finish the other eye off camera, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I did the other eye off camera. I want to show you a trick. I also went in and drew lines with concealer. And Rocio, why am I doing that? I am doing that because we want to clean this up so it's perfect if you have any type of fallout or anything from the eyeshadow. And you're just going to line it and bring it down, and then use your beauty blender with your Max Fix Plus, and that will give you the seamless, perfect look. Okay, next we're going to do contouring. I have a very round face, and I have to contour. My forehead is not very big. If you have a bigger forehead, you can bring the contour lower, but I don't need to. I don't have that big of a forehead. I'm just more of a round face. So I'm going to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in medium. And I'm going to be taking this middle shade mixed with this shade, so these two. And I'm going to put your cheeks in. A little bit there. Don't bring it all the way down here, barely to the middle of the cheek. And do little circles. Then you're going to bring it and do it around the hairline. Around your hairline here. I like a subtle contour, even when I have a lot of makeup on. I really like a subtle contour. I feel like it's very pretty. There's a time and a place for everything, right? Time and a place for everything, guys. Do the same thing here. Swoop, swirl, swoop, swirl. If you have a little bit of a chin here, or you want it more defined, bring it underneath here to give you that chiseled look and bring it down. And then just continue playing with it till you get the perfect look. Make sure to blend it so it's seamless and it's not just like, oh, there's a big spot of orange on your face. You don't want to look fake. You want to look snatched and put together. I'm going to take a different brush. And my brushes are over here. And what I'm going to do is take some highlighter. And I'm using the Jaclyn Cosmetics Loose Powder and Amped. Take a little bit. This stuff is very pigmented. I mean, very pigmented. So literally take a little bit. Tap it off. Put some on your hand. And highlighter is where the sun kind of hits your face and it glows. So for me, it's right by my cheekbones here. That's the first place I want to put it. Next is the middle of my nose and the tip of my nose. It's where the sun hits. It's where that glow. Cupid's bow. This is your Cupid's bow. And the middle of your forehead. Just a little bit, so otherwise you look oily. And that's not cute, honey. That's not cute. Underneath the lips. Using it right here on the top of your lip, that makes your lips look bigger. And who doesn't want bigger lips, huh? Okay, next we're going to do lip liner. I am going to be using NYX Suede Liner. I'm lining my lips. I'm overlining them, so I'm going a little bit lower and a little bit higher. You will notice, and when I do dramatic eyes, I like nude lips, and if I do a bold lip, I do neutral eyes, because I don't really want to have too much on. Look like, whoa. I always always insert my favorite image here if I don't want to look like that. So I'm overlining them. And my trick is to put some in the lip. That gives you a base. I'm going to go in with lipstick today. Essence. Essence is such a cool line. It's like a Wet n Wild or a NYX where it's cheap, but it's amazing. And it's this in Cool Nude. And I want to show you guys one trick. I have a whole bag of tricks, don't I? Take a little bit of highlighter. A little bit, okay? If you're using loose powder, be very careful. A little bit. Put it in the center. And, or use your finger. Favorite tools. Pat it. And that will give you such a beautiful pout. Last, but not least, my Laura Gellar Baked Blush and Apricot Berry. Swirl it around. Smile. You can see where the highlighter is. You can see where the blush is and the contour. Next, I am going to use a clean brush. I mean a brush that has absolutely nothing on it, guys. And I'm going to sweep my forehead, and I'm going to sweep this down. And this to me just blends everything. And make sure everything is perfect and on point, guys, and I will be back with the finished look. And the absolute last step is to use your MAC Fix Plus Prep and Prime, the cucumber that I love to use. This sets your makeup all day. So just a couple spritz. Let it dry a little bit. And this will give you your all-day glow. You work so hard to make you look pow. You look good, girl. Ready to take some Instagram pictures. Make sure that you set it all day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned anything at all, please consider subscribing and give it a thumbs up. Turn on your notification bell so you know when your girl put up a new video. I appreciate your support. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.